her, and then she would answer. And as someone said earlier, we will actually, at the end of the day, we'll ask questions from her again. So the first question I have here is, you were enjoying your career as a teacher, you even went to the UAE to teach, but now you're switching careers to give voices to kids whose voices were stolen from them. And this is due to something traumatic that happened to you, your own son. Can you share the pain that eventually brought you to your purpose?
Yes, good morning, everyone. I thank all of you for coming today and supporting the event. This is my second time speaking publicly, and this is a not an easy task, but it's necessary. What she's speaking about with regards to my desire to change my career is that I've been a teacher for 20 years as a special education teacher, and I was blessed to live in the United Arab Emirates from 2010 until 2015 as an educator. We returned back from UAE in 2015, July. January 5th, 2016, my son told me the reason he was afraid to go to the bathroom in school is because he was afraid someone would come in and touch him in his private part, his penis, the way our nanny who lived with us for 3 years did. She touched him in a bad way, and he was at that point forward. I knew that the woman who was Muslim, who was my nanny, who I considered my daughter, was physically, sexually, and mentally abusing my son, who at the time was 4 years old. He was 4, 5, and 6. How did I feel when he shared this with me? Words can't explain how I felt. But I felt like my life just took a turn for the worse. I felt like I failed my children. I felt to protect them. Me, a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, never wanted this to happen to my children. And I did everything that I thought in my power to protect my children by not having them spend the night over anyone's house, by being very meticulous on who I chose as a nanny. She had to be Muslim. She had to be religious. She had to be able to speak English. She had to fear Allah. My nanny knew Surah Baqarah. There's someone in the audience who knew my nanny. She's my friend from UAE. We haven't seen each other in years. She doesn't know my story. This is her first time hearing the story. This woman was amazing, so everyone thought. So I felt, and I still feel, very sad. It's painful. It wasn't just sexual abuse. She whipped my son. She put fire to my son. She threatened to kill all of us in front of him. She had other people rape my baby. And she watched it, and she laughed. And my son was so afraid that he remained silent, because these predators, they groom our children, and they make our children trust them. They make us trust them. And that's when they strike and the child doesn't know what's going on. My son suffers from severe PTSD. He's on medication. He was in psychiatric hospital for suicide ideation. He planned his death. How does a mother feel when all of this is going on? I felt terrible, suffered from depression, felt alone, felt ashamed. But today, I feel empowered. Today, I feel empowered. Today, I feel like I'm going to turn my tears into a purpose and be the voice for those who are suffering in silence, and for those parents who don't know the signs and who may have children who have spoken, and to know just a few things that I wish that I did know, even as a survivor, to help the next person.
Wow, Miss Shariea, so sorry to hear that. And what also, because my heart was broken, because I have heard those songs, and I understand how, when you bring someone into your home, obviously you have to have some kind of trust. And, but what gave me a little bit of joy was the fact that you said the journey of pain is purpose. And a lot of times we'll go through things that are traumatic, or things that we think is going to be the end of the world. But at the end of the day, you pretty much stand in the gap right now for other people.
Yes.
For us to know what the signs are, for us to know if there's something we can actually watch out for. And so my next question is gonna be, you didn't know your child was being abused right on later. No, sorry, right on later on the roof until talk about it much more later, right?
Yes.
So were there any signs you now know that you haven't missed? Like just some people want to know the audience.
Yes.
How can we know there's something going on with our children, especially when they're threatened to stay quiet?
Yes.
Silent.
Yes, there were signs. And the signs, my son had a very, very, very bad speech impediment. I would bring him back to America every summer for vacation, and even when we were in UAE, I thought his speech impediment was a medical condition. He would stutter. Only 20% of the outside world could understand what he was saying. He would say, "Mom, can I go outside?" The doctor said that he had apraxia of speech. So I hired speech therapists to come and work with him. I took him to Children's Hospital to the stuttering clinic. I had one-on-one specialists to work with him in UAE. My son, he used to have a problem with constipation. He defecated on himself. You remember that, right? I took him to the specialist because once again, I'm thinking medical reasons. So I took him to the gastro doctor. They gave him the 6-mark test. They gave me medicine to give him so that he could take it, so that he would pass his bowels and he wouldn't keep pooping on himself. He wouldn't keep himself constipated. My son could not read. He could not ride a bike. He could not tie his shoe. He always went in his sister's room at night. I have 2 biological children. He's my baby. He's known to be spoiled. He's known to be charismatic. So we thought, oh, that's just Muhammad. He wants to be close to his sister. He would go in there at night and sleep on her floor. He was running from Naima. He was pooping on himself because she would put her finger in his rectum. And because she had a man come in my house in the middle of the night and sodomize my baby. So if I poop on myself, nobody will want to touch me. I'm pooping on myself because I'm afraid. I talk to my children about sexual abuse all the time. We talked about a safe person. Who can you tell if you don't feel safe to tell mommy? Do we have a safe person? They knew who the safe person was. They chose a safe person. We talked about good touch that feels like a good touch. Because after a while, your body responds and you like the way it feels. My son also, he would play with his penis. I asked my friends, is it normal for a boy to play with his penis this way? Yeah, that's normal. All boys play with their penis. But in fact, these were signs, a few of them, that there was something else going on. My son suffers from dyslexia now because when you go through trauma, the auditory processing unit in your brain shuts down. So the part that allows you to read, to write, and to retain things, it stops because you are now in survival mode. As a result, my son is 10 years old, going on 11. He is on a pre-primer reading level. We're going to get through it. But this is a result of the trauma. When you have children that are in your classroom or in your family and they just can't read, they're just bad, they're just clingy, They're just naughty. They're pooping on themselves. They're urinating on themselves. They're having nightmares. You don't know why they're withdrawn. Don't go to the medical doctor. Go to take them to talk to someone that could get them to talk. Those were some of the signs.
The next question I want to ask is a little bit different.
Okay.
You currently work with your husband in his business.
Yes.
So a lot of women, this is a no-no. Is this working for you? And also, how do you avoid the frustrations that come from working and even with your spouse at the same time?
Okay. Yes, it's working for me. Not every day. Let's be honest. And then I worked yesterday. I needed to leave at 3 o'clock. I didn't leave until 7 because I'm still wife. And when you're the wife, staying late after your shift is okay because that's your husband and you have to keep the business going, and husband expects that from you. So I started making a few changes, and I said, we're going to deal with this as if I am an employee. So I have a timesheet too. I'm on the schedule too. I am leaving at this time. And once I'm done, you need to schedule. So, those are some of the challenges that you have when the husband needs to understand that you are an employee too. I get a paycheck too. I have set hours too. I don't work from 12 p.m. until 12 a.m. And I'm still working out the kinks because it's a new business. We just opened up July the 8th. My husband's been in business for 22 years, but our brick and mortar is new. It's July the 8th. So, there are definitely challenges because husbands expect that you work for me, you're my wife, and we're just in this together. But, alhamdulillah, he respects my role. He knows that my role is very important. But, I had to redefine what my role was.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I was going there. So do you find yourself bringing work home? So you guys work together? So do you work in the office and then you come home and you continue the work?
I bring work home. I brought work to my hotel room this morning. I woke up. The first thing I did was schedule text my replacement and said, this is the schedule, this is who's on, this is who you should expect to come in. And she told me the supplies she's going to buy, and I'm telling her, no, you need this, you need that. This was before I even ironed my outfit that I'm wearing today. And our office, we have 2 offices, and one of my offices is in the house. So yes, I bring it home, but I have to stop that. I have to say, okay, these are your hours, and this is it. But I'm still learning, and I have to be honest. I can't sit here and pretend that I'm doing it all the right way, and I go to work and I come home and that's it. Because I do want him to succeed.
Yeah, great. So the other question we have is one question. You're one of the most courageous women. Obviously, you have a story. You've been through abuse. You fought and won ovarian cancer. You got a divorce. You remarried. You moved to another country. And this experience is a lesson scars, obviously.
Yes.
How do you keep growing new skin? And the second question is, how do you get your voice back? And the third one, so you can just answer them all together. And do these scars still hurt sometimes?
Okay, first question was me being a survivor of ovarian cancer and abuse myself. What was it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of things. That's the first one. So the first one is, how did you keep growing your skin?
How did I, honestly, my faith in Islam is what allowed me to keep growing new skin. My faith, my children, and just knowing that this isn't the end. My heart would not allow me to remain bitter even throughout my divorce. With my ovarian cancer, I did not know if Allah was going to allow it to metastasize or not. The only thing I worried about is I want my babies to be okay. I want them, if I die, mashallah, I have to die. I can't even face Allah. If I don't die, this is our decree. So I'm ready, Allah. But please take care of Manel Muhammad. Please take care of my babies because you're a mom and you want your kids to be okay. I wanted their Islam to be okay. I read a lot of self-help books. I read a lot of self-help books. I listen to self-help tapes. I pray. I pray a lot. I cry. I journal. I run. I run. I'm a runner. Haven't ran since July 1st. Since the throwback. But I'm a runner. I love to exercise. And just surrounding myself with people who have good energy. And, looking at those two babies and looking at myself and saying, this is not the end all be all. Shariea, push through. Push through, you can do it. So those are some of the things that I do to help me.
And I guess the other one, and I think you already answered the question, was how did you get your voice back? So I guess it was the same.
My voice back from my abuse?
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously, you being here,
Yes.
you got your voice back, obviously.
Yes.
But just mentioned about how this is the second time, I think, is that what you said? About you addressing the issues with your son. I'm not sure how often you talk about your divorce. So I guess pretty much when you get your voice back, it could be literally speaking, like what you're
Yes.
doing right now.
Yes.
It could just be, you wake up one day and you say, you know what, enough is enough. Today's a new day for me.
Today's a new day, yes. With my abuse, I was a child. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder also. My brain blocked it out, and it came back to me when I was an adult. I had a trigger, and I was at my aunt's house where the abuse actually took place. And I don't know what came over me, but I just started shaking, and I started crying, and I felt a tremendous amount of fear. And she came downstairs and she helped me, and I was able to tell her what happened. And I joined Women Organized Against Rape, and that was a support group for me. And with that being a support group, it helped me, and I read a lot of books about abuse. And I said, I'm a survivor. I'm not a victim, and I'm going to help those who are suffering like me. So that was one of the things I did to help get my voice back.
Okay. So the last question, well, not question, is you have a book coming out soon.
Yes.
And you formed a support group for moms called Mothers' Rights.
Yes.
Can you tell us about this project and
Yes.
how SheEO can work with you?
Okay, and I'll be quick because I know I'm a little long-winded, sorry. My book is called I Took My Voice Back, a courageous young boy's story about childhood sexual abuse. The book is my son's story. When my son came out with his story about his abuse, he said to me, when I get older, I want to help other kids so they won't have the yuckies just like me. And he wanted to write a book. So we are writing the book together, my son, my daughter, and myself, because we're all in this. All of his episodes, his trauma, his life is not just Muhammad, it's Muhammad, Manel, and I, and those that we met inside. So that's our book, and on our book, he's a superhero. And he's a superhero for all of the other kids that didn't speak up. And he's speaking about sexual abuse by way of a woman. You don't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You hear boys being abused by men. You don't hear boys being abused by women. Because the machoism, yeah, I had my babysitter. Yeah, I had an older woman. So he's there to tell the story about how a woman touched him and how traumatic it was, but that he's a hero now. And he took his voice back. He's not stuttering anymore, and he's speaking out. Also, during this time, one of the most challenging parts of my son's abuse, revealing his abuse, was not having support. People don't understand. You can't tell everyone, because then your child is the boy that's going to hurt my child. So keep him far away from my children. Then your child is pretending nothing's wrong with him. He's just spoiled. He just wants to play his video games. No, he wants to escape his thoughts. Because when he thinks about what happened to him, his rope from his bathrobe goes on his neck. Or the knife in the kitchen, he's cutting his arm. Or the fire on the stove, he's burning himself. Or he's putting a plastic bag on his head. Or he's punching himself in the face. All of these things he does. So he needs to escape. He needs to escape his pain, and I let him escape his pain. But where am I? Where's mommy through all of this? What support does she have? What support does mothers have when they found out their child has been abused right under their nose? Because you feel like you failed your child. So I said, I didn't have anyone to go to. I didn't have a support group with people that understood. So my goal is to start a group. It's called Mothers Rise, and Rise is resiliency and shared experiences. And this is a support, and it will become an awareness group for mothers or caretakers, but for women whose children have experienced this abuse, where we can all come together and have a safe place to talk about the abuse, talk about your pain, talk about the days where you can't even lift your head off your pillow, and to provide resources, and to educate, and to one day give back to the community by way of my organization. So that's my goal. That is what I want to leave as my legacy.
Ooh. Definitely going to be very courageous, strong, and resilient as well. I want to let you know how much we appreciate you, for sharing your story. And I'm sure that will make an impact on the lives of others. I wish you and your son all the best.
Thank you so much.